Hello everybody, we're going to review Follow the Leader of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this is, I think, the third or fourth episode of the second season. I think it's the third, yeah. So it's basically kind of more of a Leonardo episode. It's basically where I think Leo's getting frustrated with his brothers since they're not really taking him seriously as a leader. And he feels like he deserves more respect. By doing that, he decides when the turtles are just out looking for mutagen, even a little stressed about April. Well, Donnie is, but Raph tells him to chill. The turtles decide to go on training by tightrope walking, sort of. Leo basically wants them to cross the tightrope without getting knocked down by him. And the turtles have their own creative ways of fighting Leo without just straight on using their weapons. And Leo's kind of just annoyed at them, like Mikey just uses his music box to just jump his way through the lines, and Donnie uses his brains skills basically, and Raph just shoves Leo off the building. And Leo has this on his sword that says Leonardo. I was wondering, how that got on there. Even when Donnie does stuff like throw ninja stars at him to distract Leo, like I felt like anything could happen to Leonardo's sword. I guess Raph just wrote that on there off screen. And it looks like they also got a spy on them, Karai. We see the return of Karai. Well, we did for one episode, but this is her centered episode, which later gets set up for later storylines. It's basically Shredder's going on a mission to Japan, and she also is training with the new foot soldiers, that being the footbots that the Krang build. Now the footbots, I actually prefer them more than the foot soldiers, since I always felt like the foot soldiers never had personality, and that's all. And I was always wondering, how many people joined the Foot Clan? We can just assume most of the Foot Clan got kicked out because they just became unworthy to fight, because the turtles are just always kicking their asses. And so these footbots basically have Krang tech. They can shove weapons out of them. They can have multiple arms. Like, it's really very cool stuff. They can even copy the turtles' moves. And here's a spoiler, but hey, these episodes are like 10 years old. But it's revealed that Shredder's actually going on a mission to find Tiger Claw. I can't wait to talk about Tiger Claw, but that's later this season. So anyway, Leo does vent the Master Splinter about how his brothers just don't take him seriously, and then Master Splinter basically teaches Leo that it's something about how what he gains as a leader and the tough decisions he must make, basically. And I guess Leo sort of listens about it, but then later the turtles go back on the mutagen hunt, and that's where they are ambushed when Mikey finds the mutagen, and he picks it up, but then it's a bunch of footbots come, and then the turtles run away, and then they end up going on the elevator, and then Leo ends up falling. He ends up losing and gets captured, and then I think Raph feels bad for what happened, and then Karai and Leo have the talk. They basically talk about Splinter, the Grudge, and Karai's still convinced that Splinter's not the father, even though we do find out later at the end of this episode that Splinter is the father, and that Shredder's been lying to her whole life. And what basically starts all this is that Karai, basically, when she frees Leo for some reason to take down the Foot Boss, she tells him that Splinter would hurt her mother, and that's why she hates him. But then Leo's trying to tell her, like, no, he would never do that. And he's right. Splinter would never do that, since that was the love of his life. Tang Shen meant the world to Hamato Yoshi. And I think later the turtles do rescue Leo, and they get into a big fight with the Footbots. I think they do learn that they're copying their moves, but I think they take them down. And Leo and Karai have a little fight, and I love the part where Leo tells Karai that to stay away from them, and he basically tells her to come to her senses and realize that Splinter would never do anything harmful towards others or her mother. She even has a picture of him, which is shredded, of course, because Shredder probably tore it up. And I think, actually, Master Splinter has it, and something must have happened. So, basically, at the end, Leo and Raph make amends for how they've been in this episode, and then Splinter then tells Leo, at the end, that Karai is the daughter of him. And then it just ends, like the intense music plays, and then yeah, that's it. This episode was actually pretty good. It's not the best episode. Like, it kind of just felt it felt like from last episode they were just doing a simple Swirlonoid episode where it was like a parody of Aliens, but this episode's just getting back into the Foot Clan stuff. Yeah, it sets up good storytelling. Like, the stuff with Karai's Splinter Shredder is really well written in this show. And I can't wait to talk about those episodes. How would I rate this episode? Maybe a 7 out of 10. I wish some characters had more stronger moments in this episode. Like, the confusing aspect with Leo and Raph was a bit confusing, but they did have their clever lines, of course. I'm just gonna say this, Jason Biggs as Leonardo, sometimes he sounds different. Because, like, in half of this season, he was only in half of it. Because I think after the Mazes and Mutants episode, I don't think Jason Biggs ever played Leonardo again. I'm going to talk about that later, though, as I review these episodes. But anyway, thanks for watching, and Turtle Power.